Today we're going to talk about what we can learn from companies with the biggest supply chains. Biggest supply chains are something that are fairly evolved very recently due to the growth in online purchasing. So clearly Amazon comes to mind when you start thinking about biggest. In fact, they are the top 3PL in the world, and 3PL really is just third-party logistics providers, which is really at their core of what they do. They sell products, they inventory products and store them, and they ship them. Now, what does it mean to be biggest? Well, it means that you're probably very good at being resilient, dependable, flexible, optimized for efficiency throughout the process, even for large-scale operations all the way down to small-scale operations. And the ability to be very efficient in the world's largest 3PL, it requires data analytics and artificial intelligence in order to optimize the largest 3PL in the world. AI and data analytics play an important part for the seller who is trying to maximize their profitability by minimizing the amount of inventory that they need to keep in Amazon facilities. Now, the key there is also that Amazon will be changing the fees they charge for space in their warehouses, especially around holiday season when you want to keep those fees at a minimum. So it's safe to say that the AI helps both Amazon and the resellers who are pushing product through Amazon to maintain a efficient model that does help with the resiliency to make sure that product doesn't run out for the customers that are ultimately buying. Even when the unknown occurs, like hurricanes and pandemics and elections. AI not only helps the sellers to plan for strategy around inventory, minimizing while still meeting all of their requirements to customers, but it also gives them the ability to determine which facilities to fulfill their orders through as part of what Amazon does as a service. Another reason why AI plays such an important part in Amazon's success as a 3PL is its ability to help schedule deliveries of trucks that show up at different facilities and to maximize the loads that go onto those trucks. Sometimes those loads are simply container trucks coming from overseas. Other times they're LTL truckloads coming over from multiple vendors to be received into the facility as well. So that planning aspect is often too complex for operators in a warehouse facility, and therefore AI is a perfect fit to help schedule that for efficiency of the arrival of drivers so they don't have to waste their time in the parking lots, to ensuring that the loads are prioritized as to when they're going to fulfill on those customer orders that are ready to be shipped out. So as you look at incorporating AI into your supply chain strategy, you might be asking, what kind of technology will provide me this AI analytics that I need to beef up my supply chain? And unfortunately, the answer is not ERP systems. ERP systems were built to help with resource planning, but when you start to involve external parties like sellers that are shipping their inventory to you as customers, and they are trying to minimize their inventory, you're trying to set pricing on the value of those storage locations, in addition to deciding when to schedule trucks to be arriving at each of the distribution centers, and so on and so forth, it becomes very clear that AI outside of ERP systems is a must if you're really going to modernize your supply chain to be more like a 3PL and has flexibility and resiliency to build a business plan that's resilient into the future, that gives you the flexibility and scalability to build out your supply chain. There are so many lessons that we can continue to learn by studying the biggest and largest supply chains in the world. This is just a flavor of it, and I'll continue to talk more about some of the other areas that we haven't touched on, such as why an ERP system can actually be a roadblock for your supply chain strategy. So the next time you order something from Amazon, remember that it's probably artificial intelligence that's helping you get your product on time.
Thanks for listening. To access more resources like this, including blogs, articles, webinars, and more, visit the WithoutWire content portal at withoutwire.com.
WithoutWire is a cloud-based inventory management service that brings science to barcode scanning for field techs, manufacturers, or warehouse pickers. Within minutes, you can set up your own personalized environment. With our embedded Microsoft Power BI and SQL reporting services, you'll get live views of your activity from nearly any device and form factor including iOS or Android-based smartphones, tablets, and rugged purpose-built scanning devices. WithoutWire. Inventory management solutions without equal.